What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team.
Sell the masterpiece to, clean around the toilet. So, that's where I'm at today, but blessed, lucky to have this group of outstanding men around me. And, that's where I'm at. Where are you at, bro?
I feel like all different iterations of the same. What is it that Alex Hormozi says? You're just the newest rookie of like a bigger club.
Yeah.
Mr. Frank, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Good morning, boys.
Oh, he's got the mic hooked up and everything, dude. So there's a bunch of new guys here today. I want to welcome all of you and bring you guys up, whoever wants to join us here. So for the new guys, Frank, and it's Meyer. Is that how I pronounce it? Meyer, what's up, brother?
Yes, what's up, man?
What's up, dude? So the way it works here is basically we meet every Monday and Friday. We riff on a couple topics, but if anybody has a pressing issue or opportunity or wants to share a win, please, we'll go round table. And we don't give advice here. We say it's a circle, not a triangle. So it's just like if you got a group of your teammates by your side and you're working on an issue, then all the teammates give their own point of view on whatever you're working through, if that makes sense. So Kaizen, what's up, brother?
What's going on?
MG.
Is my mic working?
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So Frank, let me if you're still there, brother, let me throw the ball over to you, Frank. If you don't mind, feel free to introduce yourself and what are you working on, bro?
Sure thing. Thank you for the welcome, everybody. I'm excited to be part of this group. Not sure if my video is working. I see a black screen right now, but I'll just go ahead. My name is Frank. I'm 31, native of Los Angeles, and I recently quit my corporate gig. Was in that role for about 10 years, a little bit less than 10 years, but started straight out of college, right? You get your degree, you do an internship, and then you start climbing the corporate ladder. That's kind of what I did for the past 10 years, but there was an incongruity with what my dreams and passions were as a kid. I always wanted to start my own business. That's what my father did. That's what my mother did. It's always what I admired. I'm a fairly stereotypical millennial. I grew up in LA watching millionaires come up overnight and I always thought, man, I want to give that a shot. So I did a lot of soul searching during COVID, as I'm sure everybody did, right? At some points, everybody thought death might be imminent, people around you, global crises, major shifts in economies. And so I really sat down and took a look at my life and started to wonder, am I going to get, ride this into retirement, this cushy corporate world, or am I going to go chase after those dreams that I was so passionate and ambitious about when I was younger? And so I quit my job. I wasn't in a place where I could work on what an exit plan could be at the same time as holding down my corporate gig. It was a very high pressure, high stress role. So I didn't have the capacity to look at entrepreneurial opportunities while working. And so I thought, if I stay here any longer, I'm going to get promoted. My salary is going to increase. I'm going to start introducing other responsibilities to my life, like a girlfriend or kids. And at that point, I can't take the risks of venturing out on my own and becoming an entrepreneur. So I thought, screw it, I'm just going to quit and I'll figure it out. I don't have a plan. It's been about 3 months. That's where I'm at. So now I'm soul searching. I'm looking at different industries. I'm networking. I'm talking to everybody who's willing to talk to me and just doing a lot of thinking and ruminating about what I really want to do and where my passions are going to take me. So that's me in a nutshell and where I'm at in my journey on life, man.
Hell yeah, Frank.
I love it.
Yeah.
But if I can say, I can really relate to what you're saying. Out of college, with my history degree or whatever, I went to law school and I did that in order to please my parents, my in-law, my fiance, and also because I thought that was the lane I was supposed to be in, and the easy path and maybe Wes, you can riff on this, like the easy path comes at a high personal price, right? Where it's eating away at you, and it takes a real special kind of like Dilbert cartoon character who can just sit in a like cubicle for 40 years and get that retirement, and then at age 65 do what he's been thinking about doing every single day along the way. Like, I'm really excited for your journey. Yeah, I got out of the law as very shortly after finishing law school and failing the New York bar. So I run my own art gallery, and that was a painful transition, right? I didn't know, like you, I didn't know what I wanted, but it was a painful transition, but it was an essential transition to become the hero of my own story. And Wes, do you want to riff on the high cost of just staying in your comfort zone or in that comfortable job? That choice Frank was faced with?
Yeah, well, it reminds me of that quote, like, you know, why are you tiptoeing through life just to arrive safely at death? You know, so at what point are you going to make a decision on like what fulfills you simultaneously while earning income? I do think now America is at a socioeconomic point where you can reach your baseline needs in I would almost say any endeavor. It just might take you, some endeavors might take you longer than the others. Let me do this if you're okay with it, Frank. Are you okay if we kind of go roundtable here and get everybody's opinion?
Yeah, sure. I'd love it.
Hell yeah. So, Mr. Phil, let me throw the ball over to you, brother. If you were in Frank's shoes, again, no advice here, just saying, hey, if we were in your shoes, here's what we would consider doing. Phil, let me throw the ball over to you, bro.
Well, maybe I misunderstood, but did you say you have like a particular thing you're focusing on? Or?
I would say I have thoughts of industries I'm interested in, but I don't have a plan. I think people typically will exit their careers with more of an idea of where they're going to go to, maybe a minimally viable perspective on, not product, but perspective of where they're going to go. I quit my job with barely anything except for, hey, here's a list of 5 industries I'm going to really get into.
How old are you? Can I ask how old you are? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm 31.
Got it.
I love that. To touch on it, sorry for all the movement in my camera. I'm just getting ready for work, but I think that's great. It takes a lot of courage to kind of quit something that's comfortable, something that's working for you. And I know I admire it. I admire it a lot.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Phil, let's if you're still there, let's throw the ball over to you, Phil. What's your perspective?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds really interesting. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say because I'm not sure. I mean, you don't. If you're not sure which way you want to go yet, then it just sounds like you're just looking around. So that's pretty cool. I don't know until there's more details. I don't really know what to say about it. You know?
Yep. Yeah, let me throw my hat in the ring real quick, Frank, because I don't want to lose this thought. I actually think that you are in the best possible position you could be given the circumstances and where we're at with life and technology right now. If you would have said 15 years ago, I don't have a fucking plan, all of us would have looked at you cross-eyed and be like, well, why the fuck did you quit your job then? But now you are going to be able to represent a whole plot of people across the world and in America who have done the same thing or who are considering to do the same thing. And therefore, I think you have an asset if you capture this journey along the way. And the internet allows you to do that. I think it's a no-brainer to start documenting this process. And actually, what maybe some people would view as a detriment would actually be a net positive to you, which is like, I just quit my job. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. What do you guys think? I'm going to research every day. I'm going to try it. I'm going to fail, but I want to talk to you guys about it. I think it's a no-brainer, man. If you're comfortable and you already have the microphone, right? If you're comfortable, I would start getting out on social media immediately. And the brand is you. Like, consider you being the business. And no matter what you do, it doesn't matter if you try going to be a Starbucks barista or you try going to be an accountant. I think people will follow you because of the story. That's my personal view.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I think a lot of people who want to start their own thing really try and think down and put on paper what sets me apart, what unique difference can I offer, what value can I create that currently doesn't exist. And I've consistently come back to this thought of, is the situation I'm in unique enough that I can offer value by publicizing it? So I've definitely have had those thoughts, and I'll throw a question back at you since you've been doing this podcast. You seem to have a presence online, and that is, how do you, I guess right now what I'm struggling with in putting it out there is the feeling of anxiety and vulnerability. I'm a very private person. Even my closest friends that I still had and still know since high school and middle school, they don't know too much about me. I'm an open book when they ask, but I don't offer things up. And so I think anybody who wants to think about venturing into that space has these anxieties about putting themselves out there. And it's a struggle that every content creator has to overcome. So did you struggle with that yourself? How did you overcome it? Is it just, hey, publish it and you'll get over it, man? Just put out 10 videos and start running.
Yeah,
Wes,
I think two things.
Can I take this one?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Frank, Wes and I have been having these conversations for 3 years, and a format. First of all, like, you are a very intelligent guy. You are a very good speaker. You are way more qualified to share your journey over video and social media than I was. Like, you're ready to go, man. And Wes and I have been having these conversations for 3 years, and the way he tricked me into doing it was, he said, start by just sending a video text message. Hey, man, got your email. It's not going to work for me, but thank you for thinking of me. All the best. I did one of those. Thought it looked stupid. Recorded it, re-recorded it, right? Then I started recording videos for clients. And when I was able to make sales for clients using the video format, then I did that a couple of times, and then I summoned the courage to post them publicly. And so if you want to take that same journey, you can post something to the Discord before you post it publicly. And just in case you think everyone's going to say, you're ugly, you're stupid, you sound dumb, don't ever share this, it's super embarrassing, you'll be surprised that not a single person is going to repeat that head trash that we all have. And something that comes to mind, like, you want to rattle off what some of those industries you're curious about?
Yeah, sure. Number one, and probably the one I've done the most research on, is marketing and consumer research within the cannabis industry. A lot of that is my corporate background, and so there's a fit there. The next one would be Web3, specifically in financial technologies. So think the crypto space, but less about cryptocurrencies, but leveraging the blockchain technology for specifically financial industries. The third one is getting into, or expanding, I guess, because this is currently my source of income, multifamily real estate investment due diligence. So currently there's a lot of investors, a lot of people with money, but there is a lack of knowledge for local geographies that have very credentialed due diligence processes. And then the third one, I would say this is the one that I've been playing around with the least, is how do I create a network of a support system for essentially inner city public servants. So think teachers that really struggle but don't have any source of community to be able to invigorate that industry a little bit more. It's something that is very much needed in cities, but has never existed. Like, I can't even find failed companies that have ventured into this space. So those are just four that I'm really looking at.
Well, Wes, I think that I would definitely watch some videos of Frank's kind of like, first swing at these different industries, learning, failing, making mistakes, just kind of like an explorer going into these, novel territories. I think that would make for some great content. I think that would create a lot of value for the millions of people who are part of the same journey, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and Rob, what I'm thinking is, and I'm calling out Rob here because he and I have had a lot of conversations about, at what point do you play the game that you want to play for the rest of your life? Because the cost of reversing is really high the older that you get. And by the way, I think you're super young, Frank. I also think, Frank, that if you're going to bury the lead that is you, I would say don't let anything obstruct your identity of like I'm super introverted as well. If you try to bury that, then I think it's going to get in the way. Because why? Because your perspective and your identity is what is unique. If you try
That's what we're tuning in for.
If you try to create a facade and you try to be whoever, a Joe Rogan or whoever, everybody's going to see through that because it's not going to be you. So, Rob, what would you say to Frank? Would you just get out there and just say, hey, that's what being part of a men's team is about, is identifying that you are not your fucking feelings. You can do something despite how you feel about it. Men have a great ability to say, I'm going to go get that thing over there. And I know that the path to heaven starts from a road from hell sort of a deal. And I'm going to fucking proceed anyway because my mind has already made it up. Rob, what are your thoughts about it?
Hey dudes, sorry for the interruption here. Just wanted to let you know, if you want to join our pro team, go to romasteam.com/pro. You can help support the channel. You will also get access to exclusive content, masterminds, one-on-one sessions, etc. All right, back to the episode.
Well, I mean, just to give Frank some dabs real quick, because I've seen a lot of videos on like kind of what he was dealing with from like leaders or like whatever social media presence, and like a lot of people are entrepreneurs, and like you took the first step, which is to like kick the addiction of the salary, according to like what these people say. So I commend you, man. I mean, like Wes said, dude, you're already taking the first step towards entrepreneurship by like getting rid of what was causing you to prevent you from doing that. And then Wes, with the question that you had asked, remind me a little bit more. You're just like, remind me more what you mean.
So I personally see it as Frank now has a blank slate, and this fork in the road, he can choose to follow, and I know it sounds cliche, he can really choose to follow in something that he loves.
Oh, yeah.
Or he can go down like another stereotypical path, like, hey, I'm supposed to do real estate because that's what Instagram tells me to do. Now, Frank, if you super love real estate, then fucking do it. If you super love blockchain, then fucking do it. But I'd be careful about, like, you have an opportunity right now to go and do something that you really love doing, and you had the balls to like cut bait. I don't know. So Rob, starting from there, if you were in Frank's shoes, where would you go?
I mean, like you said, dude, a labor of love. Like what I really admire with Wes is the fact that he truly enjoys what he does. Like I do enjoy what I do, but I don't know that I love it the way that he does. So if you can find something that you love, I think the money will come. Like it's just a byproduct. Like if you love going into work or doing what you're doing, I mean, I don't know if maybe work makes it sound like it's a negative, but if you enjoy doing what you're doing, the money will come, right? So I think like what Wes said, he literally hit the nail exactly on the head, is try to find something you enjoy, chase what you like versus the money. Cause I think the money is a byproduct. And if going to work or doing what you're doing isn't taxing on you, and it's like literally you wake up excited to do it, I think that's a huge, huge benefit, because you're going to be able to put in the time and work and effort it needs to be successful, because it's effortless, or at least minimal effort or enjoyable effort, because sometimes effort can be enjoyable. But that's what I admire a lot about Wes.
Yeah,
one of the many things, to be honest. But
well, and I appreciate you saying that, Rob. And to add some texture to that, Frank, I actually think that if Rob gave you that advice 15 years ago, it would not have been effective, because there's so many subcategories of industries out there that that at the time were not able to be monetized. But just to give you an idea, a few months ago, I watched a Japanese woman who does not speak English wrap gifts for 2 hours. I love gift wrapping, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And 4 million other people, 4 million other people watched that as well. Now, if she would have said 20 years ago, hey, I'm really passionate about gift wrapping, I would have said, well, that's great. You should go be an accountant. But today, because you can document the journey, I think it's a no-brainer. Now, that's up to you to do that work. Do you know what I mean? You can't just go and wrap gifts and not show anybody and share it to the world, which leads me to my other point of stop. Don't be afraid of leaning into your fear and showing that you're scared, right? Showing the vulnerability, saying that you're scared. I think number one, shines light on it so you actually be less scared. But then number two, gives hope and motivation to other people who feel just like you. The second thing is reverse it. It's not about you, bro, right? Like you've been gifted some sort of ambition in some sort of domain. Just go deeper into that and share it with others. Make it about others. I know it sounds cheesy, bro, but like make it about others and serving others, and you will be on a perpetual motivational grind that will feel amazing. Kaizen, I know you've been going through journeys, since we've met. What's your perspective on Frank's situation right now?
You're making most of your money right now off your real estate.
That's correct.
Do you have to manage it yourself?
Maybe 3 hours a week. I have a management company.
There, that's the question. Okay. So if that's the case, this is where you're getting your money from. This is what's going to fund what you actually want to do in the meantime. So I would set that up to basically automate itself. To taking like Tim Ferriss's approach, make it as profitable as it can be, and then to the point where you don't have to fuck with it. You're just getting the money from it passively. And then that will give you the ability to kind of focus on what it is you want to do. And it sounds like if you're wanting to make like something where you're cleaning up your communities, maybe like an NPO or something like that, by giving people houses, by giving them jobs in order to do that, that is one small thing that you can do that can kind of snowball into something bigger with that. So, I mean, it might not sound like it means a lot, but to somebody that doesn't have a house or doesn't have a job, that could be a game changer. And that's something that you would be able to give people, which is, that's huge. And kind of tying into what you were talking about with your cannabis marketing background, and if you're wanting to use programming for like blockchain, finance, things like that, you just start doing it. If it's something that you're interested in peripherally, don't beat off, don't masturbate. Like this is the best thing ever. I'm going to read everything about it and not do anything, because then you're literally beating off. That does nothing. You're accomplishing nothing. You're wasting time. So just start doing it. Like, okay, how do I make, like, one thing I've seen before, people write blockchain contracts, but they have to be able to program it in blockchain language. That's one thing you can do. Just look up a video and start fucking doing it. It's not like I need to know everything about it. You're going to learn it by doing it. That's how you'll do it. Like when you started doing real estate, you didn't go through all these different books and shit for 20 years and then, okay, maybe I'll start doing it. You just started with one thing and it built into more, you know what I mean? So anything you're going to do, as long as you just start doing it, that's how you're going to figure out if it's actually what you want to do or not. Because it's easy to sit like some Greek philosopher and philosophize about some bullshit you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But until you actually do it, then you'll know, okay, yeah, I want to do this. Like the job you had before. If you weren't feeling it, you're like, this job fucking sucks. I'm not happy. I want to do something else. You wouldn't know that if you didn't do it. You know what I mean? So just kind of that approach, I think, will answer a lot of the questions that you have, and then you'll find the meaning in the action that you do it.
Yeah, I love it, Kaizen, because I do think, and I think Rob and I have talked about this, and Ray, at a certain level, all businesses are the same. You know, this is why you can get a Fortune 500 CEO who can go to like become, I don't know, Coca-Cola CEO, and then he can go over and work as a CEO of like Build-A-Bear or something like that. Because at the end of the day, it's about widget cranking, measuring the widgets and so on. Now, I do think at this level, you have to be, if you want to get to that level, you got to be obsessed with it. And I do believe, Kaizen, I agree with what you're saying. It's like kind of like that quote, like mood follows action. As obvious as that could sound, it's also like progress follows action. And again, that sounds even more obvious, but it's just not fucking common practice. Meyer, I know you're in the car right now. Let me take you off mute here. And what's your perspective on it, brother? Sorry, I had to mute you because there was some wind in the background.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep, all good, brother.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So I love what Kaizen said. I actually have a phrase for that. It's called a paralysis by analysis. So a lot of people, when they want to start like a new venture or a new business or something, they'll do a bunch of research on it. and then they don't really actually start doing it. I think, Frank, you kind of answered your question about what industry you should start doing or looking into. I think if you have experience in something and you like something already, like the cannabis marketing, then that's something you should definitely start with and try to look more into. But no, yeah, that's great. I loved everything you guys said.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And Frank, man, I think what happens with the internet is people relate it to the TV or the radio of past. So they think it has to be this perfect, porcelain view of like basically like a caricature of a human rather than the real human. And I think if we were to be honest, all the people that we follow right now are humans. This is why, like, we probably don't follow companies on our social media. Most of us here probably follow individuals who are being authentic. Ray, would you agree with that?
100%. When I started in front of the camera, flirting with the idea back in 2012, I thought I was supposed to be an absolutely wooden kind of caricature of a newscaster, reporting on some flood or mudslide or whatever, right? But that's not what flies. Like, I think a major shift occurred with the popularity of This American Life, the NPR radio show, where it was just nerds speaking in nerd voice and not trying to, again, like you said, conform to this wooden stereotype, right? And that really broke the mold. I mean, it might have been something else in the culture that broke the mold, but that's something I can think of that broke the mold and was this shift where what people actually want to hear is sincerity, authenticity, and a real human being. That's what we connect to. We don't really plug into Walter Cronkite type authoritative voices anymore. And that was the name I was trying to remember in one of our previous discussions on this subject, Wes. So Frank, share your journey. And I don't mean wait to be successful at it, then create videos. Share your journey. Share your learning, share the stumbles, be yourself. Don't try to be like Wes was saying, don't try to be the perfect finished product, and to combine what Kaizen was saying, the act of doing is what matters. It's not the success you'll get from this journey. It is the man that you will become on this journey. And that is, that's the message. Like, just start sharing your journey. Like, you profit nothing and the world profits nothing from you remaining in isolation. I mean, that might have worked for Thomas Edison 150 years ago. But imagine if we could be a fly on the wall as Thomas Edison, like, tried and failed, experimented. That's what's going to be interesting, is the laboratory of ideas that we get to watch.
Yeah. If you just posted somebody who has 6-pack abs up on a screen, you'd probably like, okay, cool, congrats, bro. A bunch of people have it. But then as soon as you post the before picture of him being 500 pounds, now the story's interesting. So don't rob yourself of the before picture. Don't wait to be successful until you're showing the world. The reason that the world would be interested is because of the journey. So, Frank, any final words on your particular position, brother?
Yeah. First of all, thank you everybody for all the helpful advice, your perspective and thoughts. I'm chewing on a lot of what's been said here. Excuse me. Wes and Ray, I think a good reminder of authenticity, being your genuine self, and bring that to everything. It doesn't matter if it's behind a camera, even just in your day-to-day work. It makes life much more worth living. Rob, you said something that really hit me, which is, dude, find something that makes you happy. I think, at least for me, I don't know if other men feel the same way, but when there's a big life change, I personally get into this like Spartan mentality. I got to get up at 5 a.m. My diet needs to be on point. I need to hit the gym and I need to grind. And sometimes in that grinding process, I forget that, you're doing this because you want to go chase your ambitions and passions and find something that you enjoy. It's not just about the grind. It's not just about the money. Kaizen, action speaks louder than words. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Meyer is saying, hey, you already have something you have a background on, go after it, start doing. Those two go hand in hand. And Phil, you're saying, dude, you're just early on your journey. You got to give me more. And so, Phil, I'll come back to you with more. So thank you all for all the advice and perspective. It's very valuable. I think at this point, I'm invigorated. It's weird that a, I don't know, 30-minute roundtable session can emotionally make you feel so different than prior. I've woken up every day with 2 hours of thinking of what am I going to do. I have a big ass Excel spreadsheet. I have a YouTube tab on it. And I spend 2 hours thinking and doing research. And I think a lot of what I'm hearing here is, hey, that's good. You should be doing that, but that can't be the only thing you're doing. And so my next step here is to take the next step. And I think that's going to be, okay, I have 4 industries listed out. I want to go talk to 3 people every single week, at least, involved in these industries so I can narrow it down further or find through networking a entry point into one of those industries. So I think that's the next step for me.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
Can I get one quick thing for Frank that I think he might find valuable? I'm not sure exactly your expertise. I apologize. I missed a little bit of your introduction, but I have a buddy who's actually participated in this group who is not in the cannabis industry, but has found the need that cannabis industry needs for like a database analytics. It's still very archaic. It's still very antiquated. Like the cannabis industry is so new that a lot of the tech that they should be utilizing, they're simply not. And my buddy who has nothing to do with cannabis, because cannabis is obviously an industry of passion. There's a lot of people that do it because of the passion of the enjoyment of the industry and potentially the effects of utilizing it themselves. But there's also so much money out there for just the business side of it. Like Corey, as you guys know, has done a lot of work in there above board, legally, doing database and analytics. I don't know if it's anything that you know, but there's a huge hole in that. Like Corey couldn't service the entire need for everybody trying to do it. So, I mean, obviously the social media aspect is great, but like from the practicality standpoint to like make money and monetize it tomorrow, I do know that there are people that are not even within that industry helping them grow. So just some food for thought. I mean, I don't know what your expertises are, but there's definitely gaping holes in that industry because it's just so new. And a lot of the people into it are like people of passion, not necessarily people of tech per se. And I'm sure that's going to come over time. But I think like if you really enjoy that industry, and it sounds like potentially you do, is the first one you listed, there's opportunity there. Like not just on the social media side, but like on the business application side too. Like there's a burning need and desire that a lot of these companies have that are just not being met.
Yeah, you're spot on. And that's why the industry is so much of interest to me. It's been bootstrapped by those consumers. I consume weed and I want to sell weed and grow weed. And there's been last 5 years, an infusion of business people who are injecting money and thoughts and innovation into this space. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And in 20 years, I don't want to look back and say, man, I missed the boat. You know, I was too young for the dot-com boom. This is the next dot-com boom for me.
It's in its infancy, man. Like they don't even have databases. They don't even it's like they don't even know their inventory. It's like crazy how behind they are. But like my buddy's been I'm sure he'd be happy to share. Maybe the next time he's on, you guys, we can all talk. But there's social media is great. Of course, social media is great. But I'm telling you, there's like actual real world business application that you could do tomorrow.
100%. Yeah. I think, and to parallel that, if you're not building a media business or brand alongside of what you're doing, this fucking balloons. I work in wealth management, and oftentimes like I have to talk serious, as you could imagine, especially if somebody passes away, and then all of a sudden like I do some version of something and there's fucking like confetti flying around and I still haven't fucking turned it off yet.
Gestures, Wes.
What is that?
Turn off the gestures.
No, I know what I have to do. I just haven't fucking done it. You know, like
what is that?
It'll do it for you.
On, Wes.
That's so cool.
Please leave it on.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
So I think producing a media brand alongside of whatever you're going to do, I think just amplifies whatever you're going to do. You know, so Frank, I super appreciate you coming on here. And Meyer, let's throw the ball over to you. Anything you can share with us wins, you can share with us losses, you can share with us, hey, here's a question for the team.
So I'm not don't have many wins or losses right now, but I definitely like everything Frank was saying, and I just wanted to add that when you do find that industry that you want to jump into, definitely go all into it, because there's something that I've struggled with is trying to do many different things at once, and I feel like that just kind of spreads you thin, and you don't really do the work that you need to do pretty much, and you don't really get where you want to go. And no, I love that, and definitely talking to people already in the industry can kind of help you get your foot in the door. But no, I love all of that, and I mean, actually, I did think of a loss. So I have experience in real estate, and that's the one industry I'm trying to pursue. But I had a couple contracts a few months ago that fell through. They were in escrow, so it looked like they were going to close, and I was going to make some money from these deals. But they fell through like the last day, the last day of escrow.
Yeah. Well, I had a great mentor tell me one time. He's like, "Look, when I look at your sales sheet, if I see a whole bunch of maybes, you're not actually trying to sell." So I'd rather you have losses in the ledger than a whole bunch of maybes. So if you focus on the losses, you will have inevitable wins. But there was a bunch of maybes, then it's just like you're just not trying. So and then it's just a ratio from there. So I don't know, obviously, I don't know much about you, but just the fact that you're trying to get deals over the finish line, like the fact that you're getting them over the finish line, L or W, doesn't fucking matter, right? What matters is the hustle behind it. So congrats on the progress, bro.
Thank you, Wes. I appreciate that.
Yeah, hell yeah. And Ben, I know we caught you during a Dexter-style murder, apparently. We saw this. I saw that question you have. So why don't you, if you're okay with it, why don't you repeat the question? Introduce yourself if you don't mind, and then repeat the question, please.
Yeah, totally. So my name is Ben. I'm from Indiana, and I'm currently painting and welding these things back here. So
hey, dude, we want deniability, so please, yeah.
Plausibility.
But I my main way I make money right now is working here. I also have like a little side business where I invented these carts for hauling around buckets that you use to clean horse stalls. So kind of a weird little thing. But my question is like, so I'm plagued by constantly getting into a new thing. You know what I mean? Like I always have a new venture, or even my business on the side now. Like I get into it, and then my brain has some predetermined level of success that when I hit that in whatever venture it is, I shut off. For instance, I started the YouTube channel doing like camping videos and stuff, got it monetized, got a good little healthy amount of subscribers, and then the ideas are done. Like I can't motivate myself to make videos, come up with ideas, write anything. I mean, all that stuff. I did stand up. I got booked on like some local shows after doing like 4 nights a week of open mics, and then I get booked on a show and then done. Haven't done a mic since. And it's not because it went bad. It went fine. But it's like everything I do, there's, unbeknownst to me, like a level of success that when my brain recognizes it, like I'm done. Can't do it.
Great fucking
So I don't know if it's trying to figure out my identity or...
I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of have the same thing, Ben. I mean, I do have sort of a main hobby or main passion, but a lot of stuff that I really enjoy, like, I just, for some reason, like, there's so many things, like, even hobbies, like, I just get really into something and I love it. And then for some reason, like, I hit about like a 3 out of 10 skill level, and I'm just like, well, this is cool. But like, part of it to me, I feel like is, part of it to me is, I think I recognize that to go from 3 to even a 5 is like this exponential jump in effort, you know? And maybe there's some fear there. Not that I feel fear, but maybe there's some unrecognized fear. I don't know. It's hard for me. I don't know about you, but for me, this is an area where it's very hard for me to know what my honest feelings are. I feel like I kind of somehow hide I don't even really know what my real feelings are about stuff. When I'm like, I love doing it, but I just stop and I don't really know why. That happens to me a lot. And it's hard to identify what really is going on, like emotionally or mentally about that.
Yeah, Ben, I can relate to that too, man. Like, I've been fired from just about every job I've ever had, and it was very frustrating when I felt like I was the victim so many times. You know, and I had this list of like restaurant managers and whatever the murder list, you know, and it just kept getting longer and longer. And like, it took me a long time to realize the formula that like, I love getting a job. I'm like, oh, this is my dream job. And then at about 6 to 9 months, I totally lose interest and I procure getting fired. Like, you know what I mean? I sabotage myself. Right. And so, does that mean I am absolutely unemployable? As my wife sometimes suggests? No. It means that, I should be doing like project-based work that only requires a 6 or 9 month kind of runway, right? And that doesn't mean I have to go back down to entry level, like minimum wage after that. But like the structure for me, like the way my business is currently set up, it's sales. Like it's just like a sprint of energy trying to get a painting sold. And it's art exhibitions that maybe last 2 weeks, a month, or 2 months. And the planning on either side never takes more than 6 or 9. So because I work for myself as an art dealer, like my resume now reads that I've had the same job for 4 years, which is like a drastic change. Because I mean, before COVID, I never had a job longer than a year, right? But I've been able to create a structure that responds to my the rhythm that works for me. And so I just wanted to share my perspective. It doesn't map perfectly onto yours, but Wes, it sounds like he has no shortage of good ideas and like no shortage of enthusiasm. Kind of reminds me of the shaman, the way the shaman would like start a book club and then he would start a meditation group, you know, and it's like, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
Necessarily. Right, Wes?
Well,
yeah, please.
Can I just ask really quickly, Ben, like, can you, if you can remember the last time this happened, or like, what is your experience like thinking, if you're thinking like, oh, I should make a YouTube video, I haven't done one in a couple of days, like, what is the feeling there? Is it like fear or what, anxiety or what, or just boredom? Disinterest?
I don't. That's a good question. There's definitely a lot of anxiety with it because I feel like I'm letting a lot of people down because, you know, there's people that will enjoy the videos, enjoy the information, and you build like little communities. Then I'm like, I'm letting these people down. And so then what will help me get re-motivated is maybe, you know, for instance, maybe the best example is with my business, my side business, selling the things that I invented. You know, I just got an order from someone that ordered from me like 4 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, these things are awesome, man. Da, 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 da. So that gets me like re-motivated. And then I feel like I'm now panicking to catch up to be like, God, I should have paid more attention. I'm going to put in all this effort that I should have been putting in 2 days that I should have been putting in over a year. So yeah. I guess it's a lot of anxiety. I guess when I lose interest.
When you say like feeling like guilty or anxious about like the people you're letting down or something, that seems like kind of a second order thing to me. Like you're letting them down for some reason, maybe before that, possibly. Like, you know, if you start like, you know, before you had any subscribers, you started the YouTube channel not for anyone, for just because you wanted to do it. Right.
I love my game.
Yeah. So like, why did you make a video one day and then not the other? Like, do you have any idea what like emotionally or mentally was going on the day you didn't make a video?
I don't know. That's a good question because when I was doing it, it was just like, it was part of my routine, my daily routine. It was, coming up with ideas, writing them down with my notes while I'm working out in the shop, and then going home and preparing what I need to make the video. And like, that was all part of my daily routine. And then one day it just kind of stopped. I'm trying to think back to if there was a moment that stands out.
Are you like beating yourself up about it when you don't do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how often do you take a shit a day?
Once or twice,
Does it matter? Does it matter though, really? Like, if you hold in the shit that you have to take a little bit too long, does it matter?
Right.
But you still take a shit, right?
I can. Yeah.
I can. Ben is a quite regular guy. Yep.
It's kind of that mentality, though. Like, maybe you didn't do it in so long, but nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's judging you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just you. You're the only one that's going to decide if it matters. So take the shit.
Right.
And to take the fecal imagery out of it for just a second, you can go back in, don't worry. You're not letting anyone down, Ben. Like, you are on your journey. You're not on their journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you're allowed to be interested in camping one day and the next, these ridiculous buckets or whatever you invented.
Right.
I put them all on the YouTube channel.
Like, you're allowed to have like a spectrum of interests. And you're not letting anybody down. Like, you're wasting your creativity. Like, you're wasting your brain power. And we all do it, so don't worry. But we are wasting our fuel when we're concerned about letting people down. Now, if someone sent you money and you haven't sent them the goods yet,
right? Yeah,
I mean, we can agree that you're letting them down. But like, Wes and I get totally hung up on like if the podcast is late or whatever, we get hung up on it. We're letting the guys down, but like, no, like, we're allowed to be on our own journey. And Wes, what do you call that when you don't have to take orders from anyone else and you're on your own journey?
Yeah, autonomy.
Autonomy. And what's more important than autonomy?
Oh, for me, nothing else.
Yeah.
But what would Kaizen say? Taking a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, but nothing's more important.
Analogies, yeah.
And I know. Well, Rob, let me throw the ball over to you first. Do you have any words of wisdom?
Well, I was just curious with Ben. Like, I mean, number one, again, I give you props because both you and Frank, I feel like, did the hard part. Like, if you built the start and you got into it, like, damn, bro, you did it. Like, good job. Like, give yourself a pat on the back. But this block that you're having, I guess my question is it anxiety more, or is it writer's block, or is it like, what's the problem so you can address it to improve on it?
Right. I would say, I'm going to say the anxiety is more. I think the anxiety is more of a effect of whatever is causing me to not do the thing. I get anxiety from whatever is causing me to shut down. So I'm trying to figure out what makes me, shut down. And I think part of it, I've considered this, but I just don't know if maybe I just have to uncover some more things. I think I do have some maybe fear or something towards taking the next steps, like someone described, of going from the skill level 3 to 5, the investment in that time, and
1 to 3.
Also, there's a part
new and scary, so it might feel weird.
Yeah.
But that's steps 1 to 3. I mean, if you're getting to step 3, I feel like you're doing a great job. I mean, I want to hear what you have to say, but I also think that the same way that sharing your story could help other people, you can actually learn from other people's stories that they shared. Because you brought up a couple of, like with the open mic night, there's a lot of comedians that talk about their fear of like truly committing or like giving up. And like, you can maybe watch some videos from them and like get not inspiration, but learn from them. If you know you're anxious and other people have also had this anxiety, and you can watch them and see what they've done to succeed. Because I wish I could give you better advice. I just simply don't know. I do know that I've had many, many times, like Tom Segura's podcast. I don't know if you know who that is. They'll talk about how like people have this fear of progressing, and it's like some of them have the opposite. Too much. They don't have it. So it's like you should potentially consume some of that to see if there's any nuggets in there that you can learn from. Like learn from other people who've done it.
Absolutely.
Ben,
that's definitely
So a couple of things come to mind, and it might seem counter to what the rest of the team here is saying, and which is good. That's the exact thing that we want. Just go round table. What is everybody's authentic thoughts? So as I'm listening to your story, I hear some overlap in some things. What comes up for me, number one, is I think Jordan Peterson talked about marriage is about trading novelty for loyalty. And we kind of all know, right, like that we really want loyalty in the long run. Like we want a continuity of narrative. So I do think, like all of us men, our biology tells us to go and get the next kill. And we get excited by that. I think, unfortunately, the way the world works now is the bulk of the results are like in the middle to end part of a very long journey. So if I were in your shoes, one thing I would consider is watching Jiro Dreams of Sushi, the documentary. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's probably still on Netflix or Amazon. It's called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Absolutely outstanding. And it just talks about this guy who picked a craft, making sushi, and just stayed with it. Now, I do think all men, because there's so much to the buffet of life and career now in today's world, it takes some time to dabble, but then it's like having a call to action, like no more fucking dabbling, right? That we are going to get married to something that is at 80 to 90% of what we love, knowing that 10 to 20% is essential for the polarity of maintaining perpetual interest. And then if we just jump to the next thing, we're just trading this 10% for a different 10%. But thinking that there's going to be 100% is a fallacy, and you wouldn't like it anyway. Right? If you stepped on the basketball court and drained three-pointers with 100% accuracy, you would not want to play after the second week. And we all know that. Right. So I think something to consider is trading that novelty for loyalty. And then I also agree with what Kaizen was saying. You know, why not throw all of that stuff up under the brand of you on a YouTube channel? So like we all do, we all have diverse interests, because I do think that's the downside of historical capitalism, is that you have to be ultra niche specialized to make any capital. Now, I don't think that's as true. I think it can be unified under the brand of you. So I think somewhere in there, if you don't mind me saying that, somewhere there in there lies the truth. And then the third part is, man, not numbing yourself to the raw feelings, even if they feel negative, right? That's part of the fucking beauty of the journey. Like, a certain amount of anxiety or stress felt because people want to get what you have. That's amazing. You know, I was just with Matt 2 weekends ago in San Diego, and he still gets butterflies. Right? Like Tom Brady says the same thing. There's supposed to be this emotional pull. Otherwise, you'd be a fucking robot like me. And I promise you, it's not an enjoyable experience. So I would consider those things, if that makes sense, just brother to brother.
Can I offer something for Ben?
Yeah, please, Frank.
And not advice, just perspective. A lot of what you were saying, and you started with, I have all these things that I pursue, and then I hit some measure of success and I seem to fade out and fizzle out. If I were in your position, what I would do is I would really think about where my dopamine levels are and why I felt so invigorated early on in the stages of these projects, and pinpoint, really dissect where my source of motivation and dopamine was during those early stages, and try to recreate them further on in the journey. Anything novel, anything new that's a stimulus is going to give you massive dopamine. When you start a new project, it doesn't really matter what it is, and you start to see this small, moderate success, you're on cloud nine, you're loving it, you're getting a ton of dopamine. And once you hit that, you're like, okay, I've milked it for what it is, at least the easy parts of it, let me move on. Could potentially be something that I see myself falling into. And what I like to do, especially in my previous career, where some of my goals could be 3-4 years away, a $20 million sale doesn't happen in a year, it's multi-year horizons, is setting milestones that we can chase after and focus on, so we get that novel dopamine. It's almost like tricking ourselves into thinking, I've achieved level 3, there's this completely new experience and capability at level 5. That's my newness. That's my novel dopamine that I'm going to go chase after.
Right.
And so you really have to think and say, okay, what fires me up about making these horse buckets or camping YouTube videos? What is it that I loved so much in the beginning? And how do I trick my brain to continue finding little moments of that discovery further along in your journey?
Yeah, I agree. And I wonder what would happen, Ben, if, and by the way, bro, if any part of this pattern is true, I've lived it and still live it to a certain degree, right? Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes what I want to say to myself is like, hey, be careful, because you keep on trying to prove yourself rather than to serve others. And if I can catch myself in those little pockets of time, it's like, wait a second, what am I doing here? Again, I'm trying to chase that novel thing. I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm worth it. And that's going to be a journey that I'm going to live for the rest of my life. We all have these self-worth issues, versus flipping the script of saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to show up because I need to serve Ray. I need to serve Ben. I need to serve Rob. And I hope they're doing the same thing for me. So as weird as it sounds, if we can invert that problem and then ride the emotional waves and just saying, thank you for sharing. I'm a human being. I'm having an emotional experience. That's okay. I'm going to chop the fucking wood anyway. And then 3 months from now, it's worth it because you have the whole community saying, hey, man, thank you for chopping that wood. I was able to heat my house. And then all of a sudden you get on that rhythm rather than the short-term rhythm of, let me try this thing, let me try this thing, let me try this thing.
Right.
Hell yeah. Well, Ben, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Yeah, great stuff. I appreciate it a lot.
But also, Ben, I give you credit, bro. Like, also, sometimes you've invented something that people want. That's awesome, man. And I feel like the dopamine, maybe I'm just different, but I feel like the dopamine comes as you see it grow. Nothing good came easy. I mean, I commend you for taking the first step, and you've got many things cooking in the kitchen. Maybe just rip the Band-Aid off, dude. Just look yourself in the eyes and be like, I commit to at least one of these. But good job at starting. I think the hardest part's already over. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this, because I want to, first of all, if anybody needs their scorecard, Kyle right now, who's listening right now, he's in the background. He's putting up a place where you guys can actually go and grab our scorecard. For the new guys, the scorecard is the baseline, right? Like, the scorecard is what keeps me, Ray, and so on grounded. It's like the baseline stuff that you need to do, in our opinion, as a man every single day. Are you getting your sleep? Are you getting your water? Are you meditating? Are you telling somebody that you care about how much you love them, or serving them in a certain way? Like, all of these things, and we measure ourselves on a scorecard. Then everything's fucking upside from there, But one of the other things we like to do on the team is, the world out there often doesn't want to hear about our wins because we're serving other people. We feel like we've got to be leaders, et cetera. So we're building this team so that you can share your wins. So let's go round table here on our final thoughts here. I would like everybody to have the guts to share their win, at least one win, because if you're going to have the balls to critique yourself and to beat yourself up for the things that you're not doing, then have the balls to at least give yourself credit for the things you're doing right. Ray, let me throw you over the ball. What's a one win you've had, buddy?
Wes, I learned something really valuable from you yesterday, which is not all referrals turn into a second client. It's actually only 1%, but you automatically send a small token of your appreciation to the referring client. So I've ordered a bouquet of flowers that I'm going to drop off to my clients who referred a friend of theirs, a referral that has produced nothing so far. But as best practices, anyone who refers me a client, whether they're a turkey or an amazing referral, they get a thank you. So,
oh yeah, and for my information, you recently sold a decent painting and got a big commission, right?
Hell yeah,
yeah, dude. I mean, I got a lot of deals going on, Wes, and I've been creating a lot of value for people, and it just comes at the darndest times. It comes when it's supposed to be a downtime, and the drought comes when it's supposed to be a boom time. And this particular client, I've sold them 4 artworks in the last 4 months, and so yeah, they get a bouquet of flowers, no problem.
Fuck yeah, congrats, brother. Frank, let me throw the ball over to you, bro. What's one win you've had recently?
Last August 2023, I had a back injury from deadlifting, and today was my first day back at the gym. It was tough, man. It's I don't know, almost a 100-day break. My lifts were 70% of what they were in August. I felt like shit, and I feel bad that I lost a lot of the gains I made, but I got back in it, man. Getting back on the horse and hitting the gym again is something that I'm excited for.
Fuck yeah. Congratulations, brother. Kaizen, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. It's awesome to see you. What's a win, bro?
So had like a almost 2-hour talk with MFG last week. I was reading my journal of some stuff that I had about a year back and just kind of reflecting on what I was doing. And I noticed a pattern of behavior where I was doing something repeatedly over and over. And then I would just go from relationship to relationship doing the same thing. So I finally kind of put it into it, split everything up. I'm kind of starting back now in my hometown, but I have the skills from plumbing this whole last year. I've already found work. I went and did some today. I'm still doing some drone stuff. I have a couple other coding assessments that I have to do for some jobs. I feel so much happier. I'm getting a lot of these little projects and stuff knocked out along the way. It feels super good. And the last thing that I got to hop off here. The last thing I was kind of thinking about is there's this old story that you see online and stuff a lot about this kid is walking on the beach and there's like starfish or sand dollars or something on the beach. And he's picking them up and then throwing them into the ocean. But there's a whole bunch of them on the ocean. And this old guy walks up to him and he's like, "What are you doing? You know how many starfish or sand dollars are there that are just going to die and it doesn't matter? Like, do you think what you're doing matters?" And so the kid picks up one of the sand dollars and throws it in the ocean and goes, "It matters to that one." Yeah. And that's kind of like the idea of like providing service to others in the littlest tiny thing that you can do at a time that maybe you might not think of it as significant, but to that person, that could be like a big difference changer. So just kind of having that like appreciation for the littlest things and trying to be that kind of person more. I feel a lot better now than I did.
Absolutely love it, man. And just out of curiosity, Kaizen's an OG of this team here. Did you meet MFG on this team or do you guys know each other prior?
Yeah. I mean, we have the Discord. We also, if anybody wants to, we have a fitness kind of group chat on Instagram that we talk to all the time and share memes.
We never talk fitness on that Instagram chat, though.
But it's a bro down for sure. Like, I think it's super helpful. And then it's also, you got a group of dudes that are kind of on the same goal that'll help you if you're going through stuff or struggling, kind of talk to. That way you don't, because it feels, I think a lot of the time as a dude, especially society tells us not to reach out when you need help, but then having that support system, I think really helps. And then it's also motivating to see other dudes killing it. So yeah, I think it's super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like we've said here many times, it's a circle, not a triangle. You know, the fact that guys are meeting up, talking for 2 hours, like that's exactly what this team is fucking for, man. So Kaizen, thank you for being so strong and consistent with us, dude. And it's awesome to see your wins, brother. Rod, let me throw you over the ball, man. What's one win you've had recently?
Dude, I've been having some wins lately, but I think the one I'm most proud of is one that I'm working with Corey, where we've literally identified something.
I'll be over there in a minute.
There's a working model now. So I'm getting ready to start selling to some lenders that I think could really benefit from it. And I, for some reason, just including him as a friend, after all these years of brainstorming ideas and finally having something to like monetize, like as a product, not just as a service, I'm super amped on it. I'm excited. It's great. It feels fantastic.
Love it. Hell yeah, man. Congrats on the journey, brother. Phil, let me throw the ball over to you, bro. And don't you fucking dare say you don't have any wins, because I know that's on the tip of your tongue. Because you shared a win recently in Discord. So make me proud, buddy, if you don't mind me saying that. Fighting it right now. He's fighting it. I can see it.
Come on, Phil, give us one. I don't have anything. I'm serious.
What did you share? Discord?
Woke up today. That's a win. Well, Wes is thinking of a message that I posted like 4 years ago that he just replied to. But I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm sorry. I really don't have anything. I've been really, really fucking up recently, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, all right, well, you're fibbing. I'm going to give you tummy tickles next time I see you. Ray, what is one of Phil's most recent wins that he posted recently?
Well, look, Phil shows up to this group every single session. And like something that I do when things get dark for me is I isolate. You know, I don't drink anymore and I don't drug anymore because I don't isolate. But if I isolate, like those dark forces are coming. So Phil is not isolating. And I give him a huge, tummy tickle for that.
All around.
What do you? Oh, you guys didn't. Oh, for the new guys, by the way, we never tummy tickle each other. Don't worry.
Just raspberries on the belly.
Just Wes, please.
Belly raspberry.
This conversation. What are you proudest of, or what do you want to celebrate on behalf of Phil?
So, Phil, am I wrong? Wasn't it you that posted that you recently made another round of revenue from your game?
I mean, I get paid every month from the place I sell the game, and I made $3,500. But it's not that literally is. It's not even anything. It's nothing.
Yeah, it is. That's how much I get when I sell a painting.
If it's nothing, I'll take it. Shit.
Yeah.
That buys a lot of Popeye's chicken, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, half of it's gone already to fucking bullshit. Of course it is. And nothing. So,
of course it is, dude. But look, so for the guys listening, Phil works for a gaming company, and then
look, and since then I've made almost zero sales every day. All right, so it's
awesome. Me too.
It's not exactly. It's not like that's for every month. All right,
Well, I think total he sold $7,000.
I don't sell paintings every month.
Yeah, now for the last like 3 weeks I've sold almost zero sales every day. So it's just a fluke. It was good 1 month.
I didn't see it. Can you share it in the Discord?
What is it?
Can you share it so I can check it out?
Yeah. I think he's just trying not to say that he wants tummy tickles by not saying it. I think that's what he's literally trying, because he just posted $7,000 he made from his video game. So Phil, I know you never want to take credit.
You know how much money I've made this? I know how much money I've made this month, like $600 so far in a month. All right.
Same here.
You're making money making video.
It's the 2nd of February. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Kaizen, fair point. Is the 2nd day of February. Touche.
No, it's last 30 days.
We're taking the credit for you. So outstanding job, brother. I know you're not going to take it for yourself. I get it. We love you, Ben. Let me throw it over to you, bro. What's going on you've had?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty heavy week with rent, to be honest. Paid off my trailer and the lot that I live on, so I own a little dirt now. Got the deed switched to my name.
Congrats.
Right on, dude.
And then I got a big order for those carts that I invented. A customer it's a repeat customer that ordered 4 years ago. They just ordered 8 carts from me yesterday. I'm sorry, but so good week. And then coming up Wednesday, 8 years sober. So
yes,
week.
Yes,
congrats,
dude. Brother. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Outstanding, brother. Thank you so much for joining the team, man, and thank you for sharing your wins. And then Phil,
thanks for the insight.
Yeah, hell yeah. Phil, over in the comments, John
I got 2 years, Ben.
Hell yeah. Nice job, dude.
Hell yeah. Meyer, let's throw the ball over to you, bro. Final win here of the team. What's one we got on your ledger here, buddy?
Okay, I got one. So, like I said before, I had some experience in real estate, and that's kind of the industry that I'm trying to pursue. I've done some deals in the past, but recently I've been struggling a lot with generating leads. But a couple weeks ago, I got a listing for this lady that wants to sell her house. I'm not sure if it's going to go anywhere, if it's going to sell, but she's definitely motivated to sell, and she signed the listing agreement. So I guess that's a win.
Hell yeah, dude. Absolutely outstanding. And then, Meyer, just so I know, where are you tuning in from, bro?
Right now, I'm at the golf course that I work at, and I'm actually surprised that I haven't had an old person or my boss yell at me for being on the phone.
What city and state?
Fort Myers, Florida.
Hell yeah.
So southwest Florida.
Fuck yeah, awesome.
Right
it's so cool to be hanging out with you dudes from all across the country. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
thank you guys so much.
Wes, final word. When is your birthday?
Finishing it up right now.
When's my
Wes.
birthday's today? Yeah.
Happy
so
birthday, Wes.
Wes, we need a win, bro. You got to give us a win.
Honestly, man, the biggest win is, and I'm serious, is like seeing this team grow. And I'm serious. And Kyle, let me bring Kyle up actually, just real quick.
3 years in the making.
Yep. Yeah.
We have not missed I don't think we've missed no. We barely missed a session in 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a while, we were doing these every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and we will again.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, this has been such an honor because honestly, if I had to get like really down into the weeds here, my dad left when I was 4. So I have always relied on other strong men to like give me the wisdom that they had because I didn't have somebody at home teaching me these little successful patterns in life. So being a part of this team and having conversations like this, like I will do this for the rest of my life. Like this is such a win for me to be just part of the journey with you guys. And I want to give a big shout out to Kyle, who has recently joined the team and actually now on the salaried on the team formally. He's just been an absolute gift and a beast to where we've had, as you guys probably know, we've had all of these inventory of videos with Matt and I, et cetera, like literally years. And I'm just busy running my full-time business. So I haven't had the time to do it. And then we bring on Kyle and he just hits the ground running, start doing it every single day. And it's just been amazing. So Kyle, thank you, brother, for being part of this team. And since you're up on here now, can you please share a win that you've had recently?
I mean, the win that we all have recently is you guys joining. The fact that there's a lot more people definitely shows the impact that we're doing here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
How many views we got, Kyle, since you started?
We started with zero. Now within 2 weeks of me joining, we're at 119K views.
Dang.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle.
We started at 152 subscribers, and then after me joining, we're at 718 right now.
Yeah.
718.
Yeah. And then just so you guys know, on Monday we're going to have Tim Butterly on. If anybody knows Tim Butterly, he's
I saw him in Tampa.
Yeah. So he's going to be on, and then we'll have I'm going to call Rainey today and see if he wants to come on next week. And then,
the rain train.
Yeah, and I'll call Matt sometime today, and we'll get him back on as well. Onward and upward. Cool. So it's going to be fucking awesome. All right, dudes. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, brother.
See you all on Monday.
Thank you, Wes. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Happy birthday, dog.
Later, dudes.
That was awesome.
Later.